Steven, given recent events, you think Darren Waller is going to play football now?
What, because his wife is going to divorce him?
Kind of needs that money.
I think he will, but I also don't know. Wouldn't it be in his best interest to retire, focus on his rap career or something?
Is his rap career lucrative?
I don't know that either.
I would say a NFL career is lucrative to pay off those, divorce payments.
I'd hate that so much, dude. Like, can you imagine that? Just being an athlete, marrying another prominent athlete, and having all that business out there, knowing, I don't think a lot of people even remember, at least non-Raider fans remember, that the reason he left the Raiders in large part was due to Josh McDaniels, because McDaniels was like offended that he wasn't invited to the wedding. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if I buy all that, but
McDaniel just like randomly texting him the day after, going like TFTI. Thanks for the invite, bro. Thought I was a friend.
Yeah, given how cold McDaniels was to the whole Raiders organization, you think he gives a shit about being invited to Darren Waller's wedding?
No, you probably use that as an excuse. But all I know is the Raiders, kind of like how every 49er luminary, I'll say, in the journalistic world, how they're trying to spin that Trey Lance trade into a good thing, even though they traded 2 first-round picks in order to move up in the draft to get him, and somehow trading him for a 4th rounder makes that trade look better and better. Whatever.
Hey, they landed on Brock Purdy, man. Who gives a shit?
I'm not calling anybody out, but yeah, that trade for Darren Waller for a 3rd-round pick looks real good right about now.
I would say so, given his wavering decisions on if he's going to play or not. And, I would say he's got to play. And shame on you, Darren Waller. Chelsea Plum's a beautiful woman.
Derek.
Did I get her name wrong?
Yes, dude.
What is it? Kelsey?
It's Kelsey. It's not Chelsea. It's Kelsey.
My bad. Regardless, she's a beautiful woman. And she has her own WNBA career. So, How dare you?
Yeah. And it's, she's doing it with the team and the city, the team that's owned by his former owner, the city that was supposed to be his city, really, when when they transitioned from Oakland to Las Vegas. Crazy what's happening with Darren Waller. I don't want to, I do kind of feel uneasy, though, or at least not uneasy, uncomfortable, I guess, with people reacting to everything that's transpired over this offseason with him. Kind of his weird stuff, posting to social media, to everything that's happened with now his ex-wife, Kelsey Plum. Because, man, that was such a feel-good story with him, in this time when John Gruden...
I just found a spider on my microphone. It was just dangling. It's disgusting.
Really? You just grabbed it.
What am I supposed to do?
I don't know. I mean, if Jesse were the one hosting the show and saw a spider dangling from the microphone, she would leave the apartment, have the place
still alive on my finger. Ew.
Oh, geez.
Sorry. Go on with whatever you were talking about.
I'm just saying it was a feel-good story when he came to the Raiders and kind of broke out as one of the more athletic tight ends in the league, because he came back from everything that he was just everything that he was entrenched in with his drug addiction and all that stuff with the Ravens, depression, and him opening up. And now we are just, as we are with a society, we praise him one moment, and then the next we just try and crap all over him whenever we can. It just felt uncomfortable to me.
I'm with you on that one, Stephen, and now I'm feeling kind of funny. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
I'm turning into Spider-Man.
Yeah,
tomorrow I'll wake up all ripped like Tobey Maguire.
You could see without those glasses. Take out the glasses. See if you could see. What?
My favorite of all time. Have you ever seen the Jack Black MTV Movie Awards parody?
Which one?
Where he's Spider-Man.
No.
Oh, and he one of the best lines ever is I'm changing. I'm all weird. My hands all sticky and hairy. No change there.
I have to look that one up.
Oh, it's fantastic. And then they cut to the live or the actual shot from the movie when the woman's like, "My baby's in there," and it's burning, and he goes, "Pass." It's hilarious because I'm a mother flipping Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Anyway,
Damn.
yeah, I'm with you on that one, Steven. We build up our heroes to tear them down. But,
Yes.
I mean, Darren Waller, what are you doing? And also, I don't like people are commenting on Twitter right now with Chelsea Plum.
Kelsey.
Jesus
You
Christ.
said Chelsea first.
I'm
and
sorry.
Then, yeah. So Kelsey
Plum.
Cuh.
They keep commenting on the video of her at the whatever game she was at. I think a NBA playoff game, and she's eating the popcorn. Everybody's like, "Huh, looks like Darren Waller didn't fumble the bag after all." Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What does that even mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird place, man. This is why Twitter's considered a cesspool. Especially,
don't I know it?
Especially, I mean, you want to talk about building up heroes to tear them down. Kelsey Plum was the NCAA all-time leading scorer before Caitlin Clark rolled around, and she was a champion with the Las Vegas Aces. But one little video where she has this quirky moment with some popcorn, then it's like, all right, now we could get back to how we really feel. And we just want to put down people because everyone is so insecure with themselves that they got to put something out there.
Yeah.
It's a mess, dude. I can't stand it.
People are assholes. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. My little brother just texted me who's watching this stream. It just says, "Get to your mock already." If we have to. I mean, I know everybody's waiting for that. I know you are, Stephen.
Your brother's the only one requesting that.
I don't think so. But in the chat, all the opiners are down for DP's mock. Huh? You like that?
I'd rather look at DJs. I'm good to look at Move the Sticks. DJs.
Let's look at that real quick as I share my screen. So we are one sexy day away from the NFL draft. I don't know why I use that adjective, but anyway, we're 1 day away from the NFL draft. Less than 24 hours, and not a lot has gone on. I mean, everybody's throwing out their mock drafts and whatnot, and Daniel Jeremiah threw out his, and he's the one guy I kind of trust when it comes to this stuff because last year he nailed it, mainly because he was tipped off about what was going on with the Houston Texans. They had a second overall pick and took C.J. Stroud when everybody was lambasting him for whatever cognitive test he fucked up on, whatever. He had a great season. And then they traded up again to get Will Anderson. Both of them were the offensive rookie. Well, C.J. Stroud was offensive rookie of the year, and Will Anderson was defensive rookie of the year. So I put a lot of stock in what Daniel Jeremiah has to say when it comes to his mock draft. So let me share my screen, and I will go through what DJ predicts. Hang on a second. You can see it, right?
John Curley liking the reply. My man.
John Curley will be at the old draft show tomorrow. I'll get into details about that too. But here we go, mock draft.
Hang on, real quick before we get to the mock and look at that, because we'll keep it up on the screen. I love it when there's these random YouTube channels that I think might be just an alternate for one of the guys who normally tunes in. But I'm your GUI is the user account, and the comment, "Who are these GUIs?"
We're Derek Papa and Stephen Langford. We're those GUIs.
It's like the Boof Busters. Just
is GUI? What the hell is a GUI anyway? When I think of GUI, I actually was watching this movie the other day. Uncut Gems. That's what Adam Sandler calls his father-in-law or his own father. I don't know.
According to Urban Dictionary,
it's pronounced ways. Who is this guy? You know who this is?
Oh, no, I have no clue who that is.
Okay.
Now I get it. That's the whitest thing we've ever done on this program is to pronounce it GUIs.
So who are these ways?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, you haven't heard isn't that like the term for dude or bro in Spanish? Yeah.
I've never heard of that in my life.
AJ Cruz. There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
Way is a Spanish slang for guy, dude. Oh, didn't know that. Thank you, Ernie's. All right. Let's get to DJ's mock draft. So he's got, I mean, at this point, I think everybody thinks this draft pretty much starts at 3. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. I think everybody has that in everybody's mock drafts. Then he's got Drake May going 3rd. Marvin Harrison Jr. 4th. J.C. Latham, the right tackle for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He's got them going 5th. Or he's got them going 5th. Or him going 5th, I should say. Malik Neighbors going 6th to the Giants. Joe Alt going to the Titans. Dallas Turner going to the Falcons. Olu Fashanu. Huh? Got it right, Steven.
Nice.
9 to the Bears. Aroma Duze going 10 to the Jets. JJ McCarthy going to the Vikings. Talisi Fuaga going to the Eagles. Michael Penix Jr. going to the Raiders at 13. Troy Fatanu going to the Saints at 14. Brock Bowers to the Colts at 15. Terrion Arnold going to the Seahawks. Quinyon Mitchell going to the Jags. Brian Murphy II going to the Bengals. He has the Commanders trading back into the first round and taking Armarius Mims, the right tackle from Georgia. He's got the Steelers taking Tyler Guyton. He's got Johnny Newton going 21 to the Dolphins. Bo Nix is taken by the Broncos at 22. They go back they trade down. No, yeah, they made a trade with the Eagles. Chop Robinson going 23 to the Vikings. Graham Barden, center, I believe, from Duke, going to the Cowboys. Cooper DeJean. A lot of people are wondering what his pronunciation is. It would have been awesome if his name was Cooper DeJean because he sticks to you like mustard, but not the case. Cooper DeJean.
Oh, the old phrase, stick to you like mustard. Everyone knows that old cliche.
Come on. It's used many a time, Stephen. Jared Verse going to the Bucks. Leatu Latu going to the Cardinals. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Brian Thomas Jr. going to the Bills. Kool-Aid McKinstry, best name in the draft, maybe next to Ladd McConkey, going to the Lions at 23. Nate Wiggins going to the Ravens. Xavier Worthy, speed guy from Texas, going to the 49ers at 31. And lastly, he's got the other Texas wide receiver, Adonai Mitchell, going to the Chiefs. Does anything stand out to you, Stephen?
No, keep it up there. Hang on. Whoa,
sorry.
Whoa. Yeah,
I thought you could. I thought you could memorize everything I just said.
No. Well, obviously, the fact that he has Penix falling to number 13 and has the Raiders staying put.
Falling?
Yeah.
You think? Okay.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I felt like with a talent like that, he would be a top 10 pick. But I guess he could drop to 13 and that he could fall to the Raiders. And good God, if he drops to 13 and the Raiders pass on him, that's just, well, that's par for the course for the Raiders, no matter who's there. Not a lot standing out. And then obviously the 49ers with Xavier Worthy, that's something I think that's note worthy. And then how about this? Bo Nix going to the Broncos. That could be an interesting one too. But other than that, no real surprises there. I also don't understand, though, why the New York Giants would want to take a wide receiver. Like, don't you want to build through the trenches? Wouldn't you want to take a Joe Alt instead? Like,
well, they do have. Sorry, go ahead.
I think Malik Neighbors would be better suited for Tennessee. Get yourself a quarterback. Maybe it's not maybe I'm not speaking for the Giants' best interest. Maybe I'm speaking from the best interest of Malik Neighbors. Just being a good guy. I'm just being a proponent for him. Don't go to the Giants.
That has been thrown out there. I think Diana Rossini put out her draft tidbits today, and she believes the Titans are in the mix for a wide receiver. So that could happen. And a lot of people think that the Giants are taking a quarterback at 6. Actually, just saw that Rich Eisen show was in Detroit, and J.J. McCarthy was interviewed. And Rich Eisen asked him straight up, who do you think you're going to? And he said, based on the amount of interviews I've had, I think I'm going to the Giants. So people have been throwing that out there. I don't know. I mean, okay, I guess it makes sense. Daniel Jones may not play this season with the torn ACL. So are you going with who's on the roster right now? Drew Lock and our guy Tommy DeVito. Or are they drafting a quarterback to save their season? Probably the right move, but then what the hell are you doing with Daniel Jones next year? They signed him to the contract, and is anybody going to want to trade for Daniel Jones off a torn ACL and everyone's down on him. I don't know.
Might be a situation where they just cut bait and then deal with the dead cap money and just move on.
Yeah, that could happen. That could happen. But I do think the Giants, they do need a wide receiver. I mean, they've drafted one of the last few years, but they haven't panned out. Kadarius Toney. They still have Darius Slayton. Who's the guy they drafted a couple of years ago? Wendell Robinson. So they have some receivers, but yeah, I don't know if I'm entirely buying the Giants thing with the quarterback. As far as anything else that stands out in this draft, mock draft, I should say, I think J.C. Latham going 5 to the Chargers is interesting, but I doubt the Chargers are going to stay at 5. I think they're going to trade down, and I think their fan base would go just fucking crazy if they passed on Malik Neighbors right at 5. If they trade down, then they can make the argument and say like, oh, we want to get more draft capital, we'll get a wide receiver later, but I can't see them taking J.C. Latham that high. That's a little crazy to me.
No.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, also Rome Odunze going to the Jets. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, despite his conspiratorial offseason, rather, I'd say also the regular season too, despite everything, Rodgers is still a damn good quarterback. And if he stays healthy and has Garrett Wilson, Rome Odunze, Breece Hall, you're looking at maybe the best skill position group in the NFL if they manage to get that done. Like, that's crazy.
That'd be good. And yeah, considering what they got right now, you mentioned Garrett Wilson. They also signed Mike Williams. They also, who else they get? No, they still got Alan Lazard on the team. So they're trying to go all in because they don't know how much longer they have Aaron Rodgers, and they just traded away their second overall pick of a couple years ago in Zach Wilson. So now is the time to capitalize on how little left you got with Rodgers. As far as anything else that stands out in this draft, not really. Nothing really incredibly exciting or crazy, I think. Going back to the Raiders real quick at 13. I mean, you said Michael Penix falls to 13. So are you expecting the Raiders to have to move up in order to get him?
From the 13th pick?
Yes.
No. Yeah, I think they could stay there. But should they pass on him and Michael Penix Jr. is still around, I think they would have to trade up because, say, what if the Giants, for example, they don't say they draft Malik Neighbors, but they also want a quarterback. Say they draft a non-quarterback with that 6th overall pick. What's to stop the Giants from trying to trade up? Are any of these lower level teams here picking 27th through 32? Like, I don't know. Do the Cardinals want 2 first-round picks? I don't know what to expect here. Although, is that a trade? Is that a trade in the first round there?
Which one?
Oh, via Houston. Okay. All right. So they got that first. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
I think at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Penix is a top 10 pick. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a top 20 pick. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a second round pick. I have no idea what to make of where he's going in this draft. Bo Nix, if he goes in the first round, 22 seems really high to me. I can also see him going in the second round as well. I also don't think the Broncos are crazy about any of these quarterbacks. So if the right one falls to them, they'll take him. But I don't think that Sean Payton is necessarily trying to. I mean, he wants to win. He's a coach, obviously, but I don't think he's just going to draft a quarterback because they need a quarterback. I think he's just going to wait it out and see what's the best available guy next year. And he'll go in with Zach Wilson and Jarrett Stidham and possibly sign Ryan Tannehill once the draft's over. So I don't know about that. What are you laughing at?
Just the idea that the Broncos at one point traded for Russell Wilson and now he's with the Steelers and they're just stuck with Zach Wilson and the names you just mentioned. Jason Statham, Jarrett Stidham, whatever.
And don't forget our guy Ben DiNucci.
Yeah, Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci. All right. Yeah, I mean, Daniel Jeremiah's very tapped in, so all this stuff could very well happen or lean in that direction. Mock drafts are crazy. Everyone's got one today. The one guy that I think always fucking nailed it was Mike Mayock. And I'll always be amazed before the 2020 or the 2005 draft. Everyone was saying it's Aaron Rodgers, maybe going first overall or maybe going second overall. This guy called it that he's going to fall all the way to 24 to the Packers, and it happened. And from that day on, I would always watch the day before the draft when Mike Mayock would do his mock draft. And over the years, he never got anything quite as accurate as that. But I think it's just interesting the guys that are tapped in, like I said, there's so many fucking mock drafts that it's annoying at this point. But I think when Daniel Jeremiah, who really studies, I mean, he's an analyst for the Chargers. He worked in scouting departments. He's very tapped in. When he releases a mock draft in the final one, I pay attention. But I think things are going to go a little different. Should I get to my mock, Steven?
Yeah, go ahead. But real quick, I do have a question.
Answer, maybe.
I like this idea from Ernie too. What do you think the likelihood is that over on the East Coast, where there's just a large contingent of Italian Americans, what do you think the likelihood is that there's someone with the last name Ben DiNucci? Just all one last name. There's this one dude on Instagram,
Giorgio Ben DiNucci.
His name is Nicky Cass, and he basically created this entire world of Italian families on the East Coast. He's fantastic at what he does. He mostly does like little league coaches or
is this the guy that was in that video with Tommy DeVito? Take care, brush your hair.
No. That's another guy. That's Cougine. But in this little world that he created, when he's playing a coach, there's always a guy like Gagliano. You got to get on your butt if you're going to hit the ground ball. You know, that kind of thing. I think he would have Ben DiNucci. Hey, Ben DiNucci, what you doing over there, Ben DiNucci? I think that's a real last name somewhere.
All right, you ready for my mock draft, Steven?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Can I get a little music?
Oh, you want music for this?
Yeah, why not?
What kind of
spectacle
music
this whole thing?
What do you want?
The usually generic rock beat we always do, or something different. I don't know.
I mean, I could do Hard Knocks if you want. I got Hard Knocks.
Sure, let's do it.
All right.
Oh yeah,
this actually works.
Gonna make it.
Your mic turned off.
Still got me?
Now I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, because the music's so goddamn loud. Turn it down a little bit, Steven. Okay. All right. Here we go. Here's DP's 2024 mock draft.
Writing it down with my trusty pen.
And you make sure you write it all down so you can tell me how wrong I was on Sunday. All right. We know what's going on the first two picks. Caleb Williams goes 1 to the Bears. Jan Daniels goes 2 to the Commanders. 3 is where things get interesting. If the Patriots could, they would trade down. But they may be asking for too much, and they're having 2 inexperienced guys command their war room in Elliott Wolf, and it sounds like Robert Kraft's son, Jonathan Kraft, is going to be like Stephen Jones, where he's going to be a guy in the front office and also helping out Daddy. So I don't know if they can make a move go, and from everything that you see, it sounds like they're just not really in on Drake May. And there's a lot of things they got to fix. My little brother was texting me that everyone's talking about his mechanics are just completely fucked, and he's got to improve them. But he has a lot of with a project like that. So against my better judgment, I'm going to take J.J. McCarthy going 3rd overall to the New England Patriots. Ugh. Don't know if I love that, but maybe they do that. Then 4th, easy, I think the Arizona Cardinals take Marvin Harrison Jr. He's been linked to them for a long time. Then we got a trade at number 5. Chargers, should they take Malik Neighbors? They probably should, but they're not going to because Jim Harbaugh loves the big nasties. So he's going to trade down, and Minnesota's going to trade up, and they're going to kill their draft for the next few years by trading away 2 first-round picks in this draft and a first-round pick next year to go up to 5, and they are happy that the Patriots passed on their next selection. Drake May goes to the Vikings at number 5. Then at 6, I got the Giants taking Malik Neighbors. I do. I think that a lot of people are comparing him to Odell and that he's going to be a pain in the ass and everything, and they don't want to deal with that. I just think at the end of the day, he's just the best player available, and they need playmakers. So I'm taking Malik Neighbors, number 6 of the Giants. Then I got the Titans taking Joe Alt at number 7, the tackle from Notre Dame. Seems easy. They need that. I know a lot of people are saying, like, oh, they may get a wide receiver. They just picked up Calvin Ridley. They got DeAndre Hopkins. They also have Treylon Burks. I think they're fine receiver-wise. They may improve. They may need to upgrade over time. But, yeah, I think they need to upgrade at tackle at number 7. Then at 8, Falcons just need pass rush, so they take Dallas Turner from Alabama. Then 9, the Chicago Bears end up with Rome Odunze. And they got a nice receiving core of Keenan Allen and DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. Then at 10, the Jets are all in for this season. They need some pass blocking help, but they also get a pass catcher. And I think they take Brock Bowers at 10. Then we go to 11, Chargers. What are you laughing about, Steven?
Oh, nothing.
Then at 11, I got the Chargers taking their right tackle, Talisi Fuaga from Oregon State, best right tackle, they say, in this draft. So I got him going there. Then the Arizona Cardinals trade with the Denver Broncos. Broncos come down, Cardinals come up, and they take defensive tackle Byron Murphy, the second from Texas. They already had a Byron Murphy before, and now they get a new Byron Murphy in the trenches. Then I got the New Orleans Saints taking J.C. Latham, the big old right tackle from Alabama. I got the Colts at 15 taking Terrion Arnold, the cornerback. I got the Eagles trading up with the Seahawks. They go to 16, and they take cornerback Kenyon Mitchell from Toledo. They need some defensive back help. Then I got the Jaguars taking a cornerback right after that, Nate Wiggins from Clemson. Then I got the Cincinnati Bengals taking offensive tackle Amarius Mims from Georgia. Then the Rams take pass rusher Leatu Latu from UCLA. Then at 20, this is where things change. I like where the music is going here. The San Francisco 49ers are on the board at 20. You know why? Because they traded Brandon Aiyuk to the Steelers.
Wow.
And we'll get into more of that later on. I got the Niners at number 20, and I got them drafting tackle Troy Fatanu from Washington. Can also play guard, but eventually they're going to need a right tackle, or they're going to need a replacement for Trent Williams. So I got them taking him. Then at 21, I got the Miami Dolphins taking defensive tackle Johnny Newton from Illinois. I got the Seattle Seahawks at 22, taking center Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon. Then I got the Chargers finally getting a wide receiver, my guy Adonai Mitchell from Texas. I got the Cowboys at 24, taking Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma. I got the Packers taking Cooper DeJean from Iowa. I got the Buccaneers at 26, taking Jared Verse, the pass rusher from Florida State. Then I got the Broncos at 27. They traded down. They get Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama. 28, Bills get the replacement for Stephon Diggs. They get Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU. Then the Detroit Lions at 29 take edge pass rusher Darius Robinson from Missouri. 30, another pass rusher named Robinson, Chop Robinson, goes to the Ravens. And then the San Francisco 49ers, they trade away Brandon Aiyuk. They need to replace him, and they get speedster. Kyle Shanahan went to Texas. Xavier Worthy at 31. And then I got the Kansas City Chiefs with no wide receivers that they like in the first round, taking Kingsley Suamaitea from BYU. And that's your first round mock.
Wow. Wow. Way to go, man.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, please stop. All right. So let's get into Brandon Aiyuk real quick.
All right.
No, I got my little brother just texting me now. Oh, he's going to give me his review. Why would the Niners draft Worthy? I'm going to tell you why. Like I said last podcast, I think the Niners need to separate themselves from the Kansas City Chiefs and need to throw the ball down the field. All of this dinking and dunking stuff and run game, it's worked for the most part in the regular season, but when they just need to spread out the offense. And I think that, like we talked about last time, I always go back to that play where Deebo Samuel was shut down by Trent McDuffie, and Brandon Aiyuk didn't make much of a scene in that Super Bowl. So I think they need speedsters. I know that Xavier Worthy is a guy that cannot block. He's a $165, maybe $175. He's tiny, but he's fast as shit. And I just think that the 49ers need to separate themselves. So yeah, I see them, if they are going to trade away Brandon Aiyuk, I think they draft Xavier Worthy. And Daniel Jeremiah agreed with me. Nick,
Your dad's gonna call him the X-Man, isn't he?
he's definitely worthy, isn't he, T-Rock? Oh, you're right about that, Pop.
Yeah, he's gonna call him the X-Man, no doubt about it. If they do
Yeah.
draft Worthy, I actually kind of agree with Ernie too here. I think Kyle's too stuck in his ways, his ego. I don't think we'll have the Niners throw down the field more. Why would they just? I don't think Shanahan's going to look at it like they need to compete with the Chiefs. He's going to look at it week by week and stuff, and then I think we're going to just use the running back and stuff, and use Christian McCaffrey and stuff, and we're going to keep running the same offense as we always do and stuff. Maybe we'll throw down a little bit more down the field and stuff, but we're going to keep on running the same offense we always do and stuff.
I mean, no, they will for the most part, but I think that they gotta throw the ball down the field a little bit more. So yeah, they'll be versatile and still use Debo in that regard. So let me get to Brandon Aiyuk real quick because things happened today. Amon-Ra St. Brown got paid, and he got paid. What was it? 4 years, $120 million, 77 guaranteed, and his AAV now matches the highest in the NFL with Tyreek Hill. So he gets paid $30 million a year. And as soon as that news broke, Brandon Aiyuk goes to IG and does a little dance. Ooh, and makes you believe that Brandon Aiyuk thinks that he's on the same level as Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he deserves a contract that maybe exceeds that amount. Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the more underrated wide receivers in football, I believe. There has not been a season. You don't think so?
No. Underrated. He was underrated maybe in 2022, 2023, but 2024? No way.
All right, so where would you put him in the wide receiver rankings?
I'd put him within the top 10, arguably top 5.
Yeah, you might even say top 3. So this guy hasn't had less than 85 catches in his short NFL career. Last season, he had, I think, 119 catches, 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns. The guy is one of the best receivers in football. He is a volume pass catcher. He can beat you deep. I think he's one of the best. And I don't think that Brandon Aiyuk is as good as him.
This is where I disagree. I think you're underrating Brandon Aiyuk in this instance because that Lions offense runs through Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, they use him for everything. Whereas the 49ers offense looks at Aiyuk as like a third or fourth option, and they rely on him for run blocking in some games more than they do pass catching. So I just think they're totally different roles. And I think, if anything, I think Brandon Aiyuk is underrated in that regard just because they go through totally different styles of offenses.
Okay, I can hear you on that one, Steven. And maybe that Brandon Aiyuk just doesn't like being in Kyle Shanahan's offense, and he hasn't been given the opportunity that Amon-Ra St. Brown has been. But can you really justify giving Brandon Aiyuk a contract like that when his numbers don't even come close to Amon-Ra St. Brown's?
Maybe the numbers don't, but a large reason they gave him that contract too is because of the connection that he has with Jared Goff, and Brandon Aiyuk's connection with Brock Purdy can't go unnoticed. And also, like, if they do give Aiyuk a contract, I mean, they're only going to have Deebo Samuel for one more year. Are they really going to pay him whatever he feels like? Is he going to be up worth $25 to $30 million per year when, you know, he's in his age, 31 season in 2026? I don't know. Ultimately I would think that Aiyuk is worth that money. I would, in the long run. In the long run, he is. Maybe not this year, but again, he's playing under the 5th year of his contract, so it's not even going to kick in until 2025. I think with the going rate of wide receivers, and you have one, it'd be worth it. But I'm also going to stick with what I thought before, in that if a trade happens, I wouldn't be surprised.
I to this point, and it may be just because he's looked at as the number 2 option on the 49ers, I do not think that Brandon Aiyuk is as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Right. Okay.
But if he was in an offense where he is the go-to guy, then maybe that is different. And maybe that's a big deal of why he potentially wants to leave. So, okay, then, Steven,
Mhm.
do you think then the Niners can give Aiyuk a contract that's exceeds what the Lions gave Amon-Ra St. Brown today?
Ooh, that it exceeds that? No.
Well, that's what he's expecting.
Right.
And I don't think any team should give him that. Honestly, I think the most comparable deal is Devontae Smith's, who was 3 years, $75 million. And I know people are going to be like, Brandon Ayuk's better than Devontae Smith. He is. I think he's better than him. But if you look at the numbers, they're very similar. Brandon Aiyuk has never caught double-digit touchdowns. And I know that he's not been given the opportunities to do that in Kyle Shanahan's offense, but I can't give you a contract just based on potential. You have to do it on what you've done on the field. So I understand that Brandon Ayuk's dancing and everything and thinking that he's getting this money. I don't think any team should give him that contract. That's just my opinion, man.
You don't think that a team would pay someone based on their potential? Isn't that why you give them the big money because of that? Like the reason they only gave him a 3-year deal for Smith is because they signed AJ Brown to that 4-year contract. So
exactly, but that may be the same way. Okay, but it's a very similar situation that the Eagles will have to deal with the Niners.
Right.
They're going to pay Purdy.
Right.
They've already paid Debo. They can't they can't make Aiyuk the number, they can't give him number 1 receiver money. I don't think that's possible for them. They gave Devontae Smith wide receiver 2 money right now.
Yeah. Well, I do think another team would be willing to do that. But I also wonder what the 49ers think is fair compensation. I think that if a team is willing to give up, if a team's willing to give up a first rounder, especially where the Steelers are at, then, they might not have any other choice but to take that. If they're willing to get a first rounder, if they can get an extra pick out of that, oh my God.
Yeah.
But I just think that there's a lot of potential that's untapped with Aiyuk, and we've seen a lot of it so far. I'm going to do the little drop, but going to training camp and just seeing him just stand out amongst everyone. I know Deebo Samuel's great and everything, but as far as a wide receiver, you're like, God, any team would be lucky to have Aiyuk. And it's a tough one, man, because you don't think I don't know if he's worth $30 million a year, but God, he's probably going to get that money from someone, and it might be an overpay. And I don't think the 49ers, should they trade him, I don't think it's going to end up like the AJ Brown trade. I don't think it's going to end up where the Titans just, they get a guy like Treylon Burks who just couldn't stay healthy and all that stuff. It clearly didn't work out for the Titans. The Eagles won that trade. They almost fleeced them in that in a sense. So I don't think it'd be the same with the Niners. Even if they trade Aiyuk, I think they'd be fine. But why would you do that if he's just progressing so much with Purdy and you need somebody there that he could throw to? And I know you're saying Xavier Worthy, but how often does it truly work out where the fastest wide receiver turns into one of the better ones in the league? I keep on thinking of
Darius Hayward-Bay, man.
Yeah, him, John Ross, Xavier Worthy. If I'm just looking at history, Xavier Worthy's heading down that path more than, say, a Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, no doubt. There are question marks about him. He did drop some passes at Texas, and yeah, he's 175. He's not going to block in Kyle Shanahan's scheme. But maybe Kyle needs to think things differently. I hear you. It's a big gamble. It's very similar to when they had DeForest Buckner and they had to choose between him and Eric Armstead. They chose Armstead. They traded away DeForest Buckner and tried to replace him with Javon Kinlaw. And Kinlaw was definitely no DeForest Buckner.
Right.
So it could backfire on you. But I think that they are in a really tough position right now. I think it's more likely they trade Brandon Aiyuk after what happened today with Amon-Ra. Because Brandon Brandon Aiyuk believes that he's a better wide receiver. It's clear. But given the other wide receivers that are due to make money this offseason or next, is just tell me when I'm done if you believe any of these guys or if Aiyuk's better than any of these guys. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Is Brandon Aiyuk better than those three receivers?
Better than T. Higgins. Definitely not Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Been able to stay more healthy than Jamar Chase, but definitely not those two guys. CeeDee Lamb's another one who's due for an extension too. Yep. That one's interesting. I really don't know with that one. CeeDee Lamb.
I think CeeDee Lamb's better.
CeeDee Lamb is he's so flashy, but God, it's. I guess I'd put CeeDee Lamb over him. I guess I would, and maybe that makes me an idiot, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would say that Brandon Aiyuk, it is close with T. Higgins. I would say close. I think T. Higgins is really good, and I think he's comparable to Brandon Aiyuk. I think that they're both wide receiver 2s looking to be wide receiver 1s in other teams. And I guess we're not out of the woods yet with T. Higgins and the trade demand. I don't know. I read Adam Schefter's tweet today when he was like commenting on Trey Hendrickson wanted to be traded. And I don't know if he's just reiterating what we knew before that T. Higgins had a trade request. I don't know if he's just did it again. Who knows? I would say Brandon Aiyuk is not better than any of those receivers. I think he's comparable to T. Higgins and Justin Jefferson. Who else did I mention? CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase are all better than him.
I do think I agree with the point on Amon-Ra St. Brown. And just to kind of build on the Niners and their history, I understand they don't give the long-term contracts. They wait till, they try to get them done as early as possible, but they don't normally do it before the draft. And they try to get it done before training camp. Obviously, it didn't happen for Debo or Nick Bosa. Obviously, they got the one to Trent Williams and Fred Warner, and all was well in 49ers Santa Clara land. But it's different with Aiyuk than the Debo Samuel situation. I know Debo was holding out for a contract extension, but as far as I remember, there weren't teams willing to give up a first-round pick to go get Debo. I think there were some teams that were hesitant to do that because they weren't sure how he'd fit within their system. Like Debo's a perfect fit for what Kyle Shanahan wants to do. And I think a lot of teams view Brandon Aiyuk differently in that they could just plug and play him. They just need to get him with the quarterback and make him the focal point of the offense. So does my memory serve me correct there? Or am I wrong on that? It didn't feel like there were teams out there that were willingly trading their first round pick in order to get Debo. I don't remember that in the 2022 draft.
So I wanted to look it up because I remember the Jets were interested in Debo. And apparently going into the draft,
yes.
The rumor was that the Jets were offering the Godfather package.
That's right.
For Debo Samuel. And we made fun of it because it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
The offer, according to Matt Barrows from the Jets to get Debo Samuel was 10th overall, a first round pick in the 2022 draft.
Okay.
And a 5th round pick.
Oh.
In return, the Niners would have to send Debo Samuel plus a 2nd round pick.
Okay.
And the Niners shot that down.
Yeah.
Now, is 20th overall better to the Steelers for Brandon Aiyuk? Probably not. And I think so everything that we've heard the last couple of days, Mike Silver wrote a huge article about what's going on with Brandon Aiyuk. He believes that the Niners' intention is to keep him, but it's very much on the table. And they want a first-round pick in return. And I think there's some teams that are willing to do that. I think the Steelers, it sounds like they're the team that's been linked to Brandon Aiyuk the most. So I think it's really based on the contracts. I think if there was any other way that they could get around this, they would hang on to Aiyuk. But I don't think they can justify giving him the contract that Amon-Ra St. Brown got today. I think things got really complicated.
It was also a lot easier for the Niners to pay Debo at the time because they didn't have to pay any of their quarterbacks. And I wouldn't be. I know there's the salary cap. I know it's going up every year, and who knows what it could look like next year. Maybe it goes up another $30 million as opposed to what was it? It was supposed to go up to like $10 million this year, and it went up by like 36.
It was the highest it's ever been in the history of the
So
salary
I
cap.
understand that it could change, but I think committing $80 million a year to your quarterback and to a wide receiver, I think that scares them, knowing how much they've loved to build everything around their skill position players so that, those guys can thrive and it makes it easier on them. And oh, by the way, Otis Bird here, the third, the Godfather package. Yeah. The Jets, they made him an offer he can't refuse. Although they clearly did make an offer because they did refuse. So the Godfather package is a stupid name for it because it didn't work.
It was more so the Godfather 3 package.
I think Godfather 3 package.
I think I used that joke 2 years ago when we were talking about it.
Nice.
But, yeah, I think it's simply just the contract stuff. I think if they could find a way to hang on to him, they would. But I think you're onto something, Steven, where you're talking about how Kyle can view wide receivers as interchangeable. So
I don't know that for a fact, but I wonder. I wonder if that's how he views them now, because that's how he looked at running backs when they had their core there with Kittle and Debo. And now that they have Christian McCaffrey, who is proven to be the best in the league, likely going to pay him again. Does he view wide receivers in that way? I don't know.
Well, it might be a never-ending cycle because it sounds like guys are getting traded away just because teams can't afford them. Like T. Higgins is a trade candidate because they can't afford him anymore. They can only afford to have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. So now they're, we'll see. They want to keep this, potential Super Bowl team together, but they may have to make a hard decision. The same thing with the 49ers. It's all just based on, like, years ago when the Khalil Mack trade went down with the Chicago Bears and the Raiders, I was outraged because I was like, this is a never-ending thing. So it's always going to be, you trade away one of your best players because you can't afford him anymore, and then you keep drafting, young, cheap talent, and then eventually you have to pay those guys, and then you'll have to trade him away. But that's what it's become. That's really what it is now. So the Niners see the Super Bowl window, and they also see the long-term effects of, announcing to the world that they are going to pay Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
But what does that mean now? So, I mean, from what Silver wrote, Debo has been assured that he will not be traded. And I don't know if that's a smart thing to do, because I would have traded Debo Samuel yesterday if it means you keep running Aiyuk. But maybe the Niners just don't see it the same.
And I do wonder, like, if they do end up trading him, they better be freaking confident in who they're going to draft, because this is pivotal. They have a lot of picks, thanks to the third round comps and all that. They have 10 picks in this year's draft, and eventually you're going to need to find a replacement for George Kittle. Who knows how much longer Kyle Juszczyk's going to be around? Dre Greenlaw's another one. Jawan Jennings, I think they placed him on the tender, didn't they? But no one matched that offer sheet. Like, this is a huge draft. If they're going to trade, they better hit on, like, I'm not going to say all their picks, because no team hits on like every single draft pick. But if you have 10 picks in this one, make it 11 if you trade Aiyuk. You better hit on like what would you say the appropriate number to put them at is? Like, what do you think is the line? Like, do you think they need to hit on 5 or 6 of these guys? Are we talking maybe 4? Normally there's like 3 or 4 that they hit on, but I mean, you got to have a good one this year.
When you say hit on, do you mean guys that have production immediately, or guys that will be around with the organization and they'll figure things out?
Wine and dine them, sweet talk them a little bit. Tell them you'll tuck them in at night and, make them breakfast in the morning, all that good stuff, I mean, to the point where they do get production, but also are capable starters. Like, that's what I mean.
I would say they have to hit on 5 of them.
Yeah, that's an appropriate. I think that feels like it's
50,
that's the appropriate expectation there, because I think, like, saying
50% passing, right?
Yeah, saying they should hit on 8 out of 11, like if they do trade Aiyuk.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've given my answer already. Do you think tomorrow they do this thing?
Jesus. I'm going to say yes.
Yeah.
Because based on other teams' interest, based on the contracts that already were handed out to like you mentioned with St. Brown, you'd think that there would be some plan in place, or you'd think there'd be something leaked out there that the Niners and Aiyuk are close to getting a deal done, but we haven't heard anything about that. And I keep on going back to John Lynch earlier this week, just the word salad that he threw out there, not the actual word salad, the word salad that he, when he said the word salad, I was like, man, they're really not keeping Aiyuk around, are they? No, it was the
when Matt Mayoko asked, "Are you trading Brandon Aiyuk?" and he said salad, we all knew what was happening.
We all knew the writing was on the wall after that.
That's his code word, his safe word.
But when he said the words, "We wish to keep Aiyuk around. We wish this. We wish that." Like, it's kind of random to say we wish Aiyuk would be a 49er for life. It's like, whoa. I mean, hang on. What do you? No one's asking about for life. Everyone's asking until he's just
like right now, my man.
We're just talking until he's like 31 years old. We're not talking about, we want him to be a 49er for life. Who's asking that? And then the whole, I'm not going to get into whether we've allowed him to seek a trade and all that sort of stuff. It was just bizarre. And sure. He received a lot of calls on a lot of players. It was just, he didn't do himself any favors there. So I'd say yes.
He was uneasy. He was uneasy, and the fact that he stopped Mayoko in his tracks before he could even spit out the question gave everything that I need to know. They probably told Aiyuk, look, this is the amount we're giving you. This is what we think is fair. If you go around the league and you get better offers, let us know. And I think that's what Brandon Aiyuk has told his family, and whatever that Instagram message is of his brother saying it's 6 days and then there's fireworks. Basically, he's giving them a deadline. And Aiyuk knows, I guess he knows of a team that is willing to pay him what he's worth. And tomorrow, if the Niners get what they want and they have a player on the clock, or they're on the clock and there's a player available that they want, I think they're going to do this thing. Yeah. And I kind of felt that way though with Debo, and we all got our hopes up. But then they didn't have to do it, and I don't think they have to do it tomorrow either. They can make this ugly and go into training camp and have a big stink, and eventually Aiyuk has to play, and this turns into a whole just clusterfuck this whole season. But do they really want that?
Yeah, and well, the thing is, it's not just that, but look, you can't just sign him for one more year and then just let him go. Like, you can't do that. Like, you got to get some value. That's why the trade is possible. Like, it's very valid to ask the question, well, like, why trade him? Just keep him around. You don't have to trade him. You have him signed on the dotted line on your team for one more year. Well, that's because he could go elsewhere, and he could miss out on training camp for a little bit. And again, you'd have no full training camp with Brock Purdy and Brandon Aiyuk, but then you could, or you have had the full training camp with Brandon Aiyuk, then you just go back to square one. Whereas you keep him around for one more year too, and maybe he feels like it's a contract year. He has the best season of his life, and then he's truly worth that $30 million, but another team maybe is willing to pay him. I don't know. I could see it happening, and I also think it's too reminiscent of the way they talked about Trey Lance.
Yeah.
We'd like to keep him around. Of course, we'd like to develop him and all this sort of stuff. We'd like to do this. We'd like to do that. And it's what they have to do. You can't just tip your hand, but Just feels like it's going to happen.
Yeah, as Ernie one posted here, bullshit walks, money talks. As Aiyuk, I don't remember how long ago it was, but it was after a John Lynch presser a couple of months ago.
You know where I first learned that phrase?
From where?
The movie Twins.
When do they say that in Twins?
It's right at the beginning when Arnold Schwarzenegger's saving him from jail, and Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, "Danny, I am your twin brother. I have traveled long and far to meet you, and then I can get you out of here." And then Danny DeVito's like, "Well, money talks and bullshit walks." And then Schwarzenegger responds, "How can bullshit walk?" Oh, all time.
Twins better than Junior?
What's Junior?
The one where Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito were, it was their second movie together, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is a man who births a baby.
I've not seen that.
You're not aware of this?
I'm not aware of Junior.
Oh my God, dude. Some might say it's better.
Really?
It's Arnold Schwarzenegger pregnant.
You're kidding, right?
No, dude, everybody in the chat, back me up here. It's a real movie, like from the 90s.
Arnold, hang on.
He's a scientist, and he finds a way to impregnate himself.
Junior, 1994 film.
Yep.
Oh, I've seen. See, this is one of those classic blockbuster cover movies.
Yes, it is.
Where it's like I've seen it in Blockbuster on the cover, but I've never watched it.
AJ Cruz, nice guy. You're not missing anything.
Damn.
I mean, hey, I it's been a while, but I remember Junior a lot more than Twins. By the way, I've listened to 2 Arnold Schwarzenegger podcast interviews the last couple days. The man just likes to recite his whole life and his career in every interview.
Yeah,
I did this, and then I did this, and that movie made so much money.
Yeah. Do you know Predator's on Disney Plus?
Through Hulu.
Through Hulu, but it's still on Disney Plus.
Well, so was Poor Things, and it's definitely not a Disney movie. I want to see in the chat here too. Night before the draft. Be honest with yourself, guys. This is not what you want to happen. Everybody, all Niner fans, I want to see your answer. Do you think Brandon Aiyuk gets traded tomorrow? I want to see your true, honest opinions. And then the other thing, Michael Penix tomorrow. I think that's the guy that everybody, all Raider fans, have kind of their eyes set on. They want a quarterback. But there's also the talk of maybe getting a right tackle to go help that offensive line, and that's definitely needed. So what do you think tomorrow, Steven? Do you think the Raiders have to trade up to get Michael Penix, or he falls in their lap at 13?
Look, from everything I've seen, it doesn't look like anyone's trading up to go get him, or else we'd see something around that. Look, I think what would be ideal, the ideal move would be for them to get that tackle from Oregon State, Fuaga.
Yep.
And
Talisi Fuaga. Yep.
Somehow trade up and get Penix and do that all in the first round. Like, I think that would be the ideal situation for the Raiders. I think it would be a huge mistake to not grab a quarterback. And remember how I told you, like, in the last podcast, we kind of get caught up in what we think is going to happen versus what we want to happen. What I want to happen is that, but what I think is going to happen, well, they're going to draft a cornerback with the 13th pick, and then they're a corner, not quarter, corner. They're going to draft a cornerback with the 13th pick, and then everything's going to go haywire, and the Raiders are just going to continue this long-standing tradition of them sucking in the draft.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I think is going to happen.
That's
what I think is a likely outcome. And just Penix, I don't know, Penix goes somewhere random where he's like the backup to a veteran, and he's just fighting for his job.
Yeah, that very well could happen, but I don't think that happens. I do think in a perfect world, they know that Penix will be available in the second round, and they can draft a right tackle and then go early in the second round to take Penix. Only if they have the utmost confidence that he will be there. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's so much hype on this guy now, and it's a quarterback needy league. I think teams will be clamoring for him. He doesn't go top 10. I think the Raiders are safe just staying at 13, and they can make the move.
Just get someone for Devontae.
Yep.
Like, Devontae has made it clear that he wants to stick with Las Vegas. I didn't think that last year. I thought he was going to get traded somewhere. He's made it clear that he's going to stick with Vegas. So do what you can to maximize whatever you can out of him. And I think the way to do that is to draft a guy like Penix. Don't do it with Bo Nix. Don't do it with J.J. McCarthy. Penix is the guy. And, even Coach Prime, as much as maybe people don't like his antics, I do trust his football acumen, or at least how he thinks about football. And he tweeted out earlier he's not understanding why teams aren't clamoring to take Michael Penix in the top 5 because he is just that good. And the injuries scare me, sure, but if you're going to tell me that the Raiders shouldn't draft a quarterback because they're scared of potential injuries, then you got to rethink that, especially if any Raider fans are out there, because good God, we haven't had I said, damn it, I did the we thing. They haven't had a good quarterback since Rich Gannon. So do something, anything to get a quarterback to compete in the AFC West.
Can we say that Derek was good?
Derek was fine.
Yeah, but I think we could say he was good. Was he great? No, he was good.
He was good. Okay, fine. But he wasn't the same after 2016.
I know he wasn't, but that 2016 season, he was good. Even 2015 season, he was good. Yeah. After that, not so much.
All right. Yeah, all right. Ugh.
I'm with you, man. What's up?
It's broke.
Yeah.
It's broke.
It's broke. His wankle.
Christmas Eve. Colts. Mashed potatoes. It's broke.
Yep. And Lincoln Kennedy. His wankle. His wankle.
He called it a wankle?
He did. I was there.
His wankle.
I think, yeah. You know why Devontae wants to be a Raider, Steven? More so than what he sounded like in the offseason a year ago when they got Jimmy Garoppolo. Sounds like a man that wants to be there. It sounds like a guy that knows their plan. I'm pretty sure they've told him we're looking to get a quarterback. And they probably have told him, we want Jaden Daniels. If we can't get him, Michael Penix is the guy. That's what I believe.
I think Tashawn Reed tweeted out earlier that say they're not planning on trading up and they're staying at 13, which indicates in the Daniel Jeremiah mock draft, it indicates that Penix is probably going to fall and they'll draft him there at 13. And in that case, I'm excited.
Yep. It'll be interesting, but yeah, I think that they know they cannot compete in their division with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, with Gardner Minshew as the starter. They have to find a guy this season. I don't think they're tired of waiting for who was going to be the next guy. I think Mark Davis is like, I'm tired of the retreads. We tried it with everybody. We tried it with Jimmy last year. I don't want any of that stuff. We need to find our own guy. I think they're going to do that.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's our draft talk. But real quick, kind of draft talk. You won't be watching a second of Pat McAfee's draft spectacular tomorrow, right?
I'm not going to be watching any draft show of any kind.
Well, I don't blame you because we got good NBA games tomorrow, which is stupid of the NBA to do that, to go up against the draft like that. Just idiots.
Yeah, how dare they let their season get in the way for the NFL?
Well, I mean, they could.
Unbelievable.
They could think of the scheduling a little bit better. Like Knicks 76ers right at 4:30. Right at 4:30. 30 minutes before the draft. Okay. And then Nuggets Lakers at 7 o'clock. Right when the first round's coming to a close. Okay, Adam Silver. Let's see who does better.
What?
Just do you think the NBA games would do better ratings than the draft?
I hope so.
You hope so, but I don't know, my friend.
I hope so, or else that's a real indictment on our country.
Yeah, I mean, I know you and Bill Burr and everybody like makes fun of you really gonna watch the draft? But Yeah, people watch the draft.
It's the truth. It's ridiculous. Now, however, you're doing a draft show
Mhm.
and you're also doing a little draft party. But even when the last draft party I went to, like, nobody was really paying attention to the draft. They were just there to have a good time. So I'm not going to even buy that you're going to watch the draft. You'll pay
I will
attention to
be.
the picks.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
what?
I watch, and also they'll have the NBA games on at 21st Amendment tomorrow too. So I'll be watching both. And yeah, everybody come out for the KNBR draft show tomorrow. 21st Amendment, be a good time. Captain Tom will be there for 3 hours, then he's leaving.
And that data nerd you guys got over there.
This nerd loves data. Yeah, John Curley will be there. He'll be buying Bud Lights for the whole bar. The whole
my
bar is
God.
on him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
okay.
gonna be buying Bud Lights at a brewery. 21st Amendment.
Oh
We
my
have this
God.
nice selection of our new pumpkin
Don't
pumpkin
need that, my
ale.
man.
Yeah, no, you gotta
Just give me,
Bud Light.
Give me like 15 Bud Lights. Yep. For the whole hands. Here you go, buddies. Yep. Here we go. My man. Here's a Bud Light. No, I think people will be watching intently, especially Niner fans, to see what happens with Aiyuk, because it could happen right on the clock.
No, I need to, let people do what they want to do. Like I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'll judge you if you're watching it. I'm judging. Yeah,
you and I flip roles because you're the more open-minded guy, and I'm the more curmudgeon-y guy. But when it comes to the draft, you are definitely the curmudgeon.
I am, yes, and I've stayed true to that. Anyone who listened to the 5 a.m. show knows that I did not like the draft. Anyone who listened.
So you'll be watching Pat McAfee's Draft Spectacular, where Bill Belichick will be making his TV debut. And we'll be seeing a lot more of him because, according to Andrew Merchant, like the TV, like the sports news guy for The Athletic,
Bill
Belichick will be joining Omaha Productions, and he will be part of the Manning cast this season. Now, that sounds interesting, and probably the best format for Belichick to be on, to not have to be in the studio, could be at his house and just give you the X's and O's. It'll probably be very interesting, and I'll catch the Twitter clips. But I'm not tuning in. Since they went to Aikman and Buck, and it's not been the best broadcast, it's been a major upgrade over Steve Levy and gang. I won't be tuning in just to watch Belichick on that.
Well, he's just getting on. He's the only reason he's doing it is so he can get a head coaching job next season. It's not like he needs to prove himself, but it's why any of these guys go on TV, right? It's so that they can, they can pine for a gig, like Louis Riddick. Remember that when Phoebe. You remember that when he was getting GM interviews, JJ Redick, like I know JJ Redick loves what he does, but come on, you also know he wants to get a job in the NBA. Dan Orlovsky, I think Dan Orlovsky's trying to get some sort of job within the NFL if they'll hire him. So I think that's just all Belichick's trying to do, just trying to stay in the game and make that money. He'll be making good money with the Manning cast.
No, I don't doubt that, and it'll probably be very interesting and insightful, but it's not enough for me to switch over when a game's going on. I'll catch it later. I like a traditional broadcast more, just being able to just learning about the players and stuff, because they gloss over so many of so many plays. Yeah. They react to the big ones, sure, but they're just kind of like sitting there. They're not mentioning the actual players, the names of them. That defensive tackle right there made a really nice move. Look at that inside move by that tackle. I want to know the name of that tackle. Who is that? But that's just me. And also to the JJ Redick thing, yes, he is being interviewed for the Charlotte Hornets job. And I mean, it's different than like Steve Nash, who had no coaching experience. He was an advisor to the Warriors and then got that job because Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving wanted him there. But I don't see JJ Redick like just making, whatever. Like he just to build that team up from where they are to being successful. I can't see that. And I think he's very good on TV. So I would advise him not to take that job.
And you also know I haven't even mentioned this part as to why I do not like the draft. Because
going back to that, okay.
Because one more thing. Because Adam Schefter is going to give you the inside scoop on who's going to get picked anyway.
Do they still do that? I don't think they're allowed to tip the picks anymore.
The NFL insiders do it. The NBA insiders do it. Maybe more so NBA. But I do not need a tweet telling me, "Oh, this is going to happen." Sources telling me this will happen. Nope.
Yeah, I mean that does ruin the fun, especially when you get the alerts before the TV broadcast gives you what's going on. So I hope they don't do that tomorrow. I do think it's funny when Mike Silver does it, because Mike Silver will do like a funny thing with it. Like a couple years ago, I remember he's like, "I think the Jets are getting a little saucy here." Huh? And they took Sauce Gardner.
Oh, yeah. I made that joke. Yeah.
Who's the guy? Ray Ramon?
No, that's my Mike Silver impression. Yeah.
Look, John, are you communicating with just emojis, John? Tell him. You doing that, John? Yeah?
You're making it sound like Putty from Seinfeld. Hey, using emojis? Good for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Feels like an Arby's night. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up today.
What's that? I painted my face.
Gotta support the team, babe.
Gotta support the team, man.
Hey,
Gotta support the team.
I tell off the speaker.
You know how much I've said that during these Stanley Cup playoffs?
Gotta support
Just
the
trying
team
to support the team.
with
Yeah,
the Devils.
it's playoffs.
I'll come back. We'll make out. The other news today. This is way overdue. Reggie Bush getting his Heisman back. The thing was ridiculous in the first place. I'm sorry. Like, I know this is, was it 10 years ago when he got it taken away from him because he gave his family a house or some booster was offering that to him. You know how many? I would guess probably 80% of the Heisman Trophy winners have all been paid in college. So this whole thing is bullshit to me. So I'm glad he's finally getting his Heisman. And I think that's way overdue. And the whole thing was stupid to begin with. Your mic's off.
But at the time, it was illegal for that sort of stuff to happen.
It was illegal before that.
So, like, the NCAA it's so corrupt, and I know it was stupid, but since the NIL deals came around, it was inevitable. Yeah, good for him, but he did, after all, supposedly break some rules. And as much as anyone wants to say, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, the NCAA conducted an investigation. So
I know, but like if you go back and listen to any interviews with Eric Dickerson, he's like, "Oh yeah, that Corvette I got in college, that was under my grandma's name." And
everyone knows that players are getting paid, and Reggie Bush was just the fall guy. And no, I'm not doing any Ryan Gosling movie titles in this one. So yeah, it is good for him, but I don't know. That's just part of the NCAA being corrupt, and it's part of their story.
Yeah.
So
now the question is, does he get the exact same Heisman that was given to him before, or is it going to be a brand new trophy for him?
Probably going to be brand new. Is he going to get more commercial run than Baker Mayfield?
He'll definitely be a part of that Heisman house now.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of removed from that.
They got some great ideas here. You can run wild with this sort of stuff with the Heisman.
They will. He'll every Saturday you'll see Reggie Bush's face on a new commercial, the Dr. Pepper stuff, and all the commercials.
What do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're going to have they're going to have all those guys sitting at the house and, Bo Jackson running around TPing the trees or something, and Baker Mayfield just, I don't know, mowing the lawn, and then out of nowhere you just see Reggie Bush walking down the street with like a halo around his head. Hey boys, I'm back. I don't know.
I could see that. I could see them doing a whole parody of Shawshank when he comes down the street. He's got the Heisman in his hand, and everybody's just waving to him. You just hear the voiceover. They may even get Morgan Freeman to do this. He goes, "I'm just glad to have my friend back."
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, dude.
But I could also see it also be hilarious if they did it would be a total Curb Your Enthusiasm thing where he gets the Heisman back and he's like, "Doesn't look like the trophy I had before." No, it's the same one. I don't think so.
He crawled through 2,000 miles worth of shit just to get here.
Just to get that Heisman back. All right, Steven, before we get out of here, NBA playoffs have been fun. Heat minus Jimmy Butler kicking the crap out of the Celtics tonight, which makes a lot of Bostonians nervous. The Thunder are beating up on the Pelicans as we speak. Last night, the Timberwolves took a 2-0 lead on the Suns. What else happened last night? Oh,
Clippers
the
and Mavs.
Clippers and Mavs. Mavericks played well. They got their revenge after having a putrid game one where they only scored 8 points in a quarter. And then the Pacers beat down on the Bucks minus Damian Lillard. Before we get to all those, we ended the podcast the other night, and it was one of the best finishes to an NBA playoff game in recent memory. Lakers and Nuggets. We were talking. I was thinking, man, maybe they're going to come back in this game. The Nuggets, God, they are a second half team. They sleepwalk in the first half, and then they use that Denver altitude to their advantage and just beat up on you. And as good as Anthony Davis was in the first half with 30 points, he was that bad in the second half. And I know LeBron was bitching and complaining about not getting a call for D'Angelo Russell. Regardless of all that, the Nuggets are unbelievable, and that was such a demoralizing loss for the Lakers.
I love that LeBron complained about the refs and then compared it to the Sixers and Raptors. Sixers and Knicks, because it was not the same. A challenge at the end of the third quarter when you were up by 10, and yeah, sure, it might have changed the momentum a little bit or kept the momentum going in their favor, but ultimately they squandered a 20-point lead and got beat by the defending champs. And Anthony Davis, this guy who was trying to tell the world that he's the best defensive player in basketball and he deserves to be a defensive player of the year finalist. Well, Jamal Murray hits a fadeaway right in his face.
Jamal made a shot.
Boom. God, that sounded aggressive, didn't it? When he just dropped the mic, except it was like it was more of like a toss, I guess. Is what you
I hope I didn't just break my mic. Okay, there we go.
No, you're good. And I thought it was just rich how LeBron is trying to compare it to the 76ers and Knicks situation where, I understand why Sixers fans were pissed about that, but this is kind of why I don't want robot umpires. Going back to this ejection with Bob Melvin, followed by Aaron Boone, there's the human element where you're like, God, imagine if that didn't happen. But I have a feeling players can work, and there's not going to be robot umps in the NBA, but this is why the human element makes sports so special, because you never know what can happen. You really don't know.
No, that's true. And I just find it hilarious, though, LeBron is talking about his game, and he's like, why the fuck do we even have the replay center if they're not going to get the calls right? Same thing that happened in the Knicks 76ers game. And it's just like, did he, in that moment, go and like, hey, give me the scores of what happened in the league. Give me like a brief synopsis of what happened in the game tonight. Knicks, they got hosed? Okay. I got to be the face of the league, so I got to know everything.
Yeah.
And he'll go on some interview. He's like, oh, yeah, I watch every game. I watch every playoff game.
I just saw the end of that 76ers Knicks game. No, you didn't. You didn't.
Exactly.
You saw that as much as that one quote from Marcus Rashford on The Shop. Yeah, that's my favorite saying. Or that one book that you read. No, it wasn't. And how often has the replay gone in his favor?
Yes.
Not complaining about the replay center when he gets touched, grazed in the cheek, and acts like he got shot. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
God, I try to defend LeBron at every turn, but there are some things where it's just like, man, this is why people come down your road, man.
Yep. No, but I loved every second of that Nuggets win, and I think it's going to be very hard for the Lakers. They'll probably win a game in the series. They've looked a lot better than they did a year ago, but yeah, I think that for them to lose that game, I think that just does not do well for them the rest of the series.
Yeah, I know that Cavs Magic series is a total wash too. But
no, that's hard to watch.
The rest it's been pretty good so far in the opening round. Although at the end of the day, all those teams that we talked about went up 2-0, and now we're seeing the series split with the Celtics and Cavs. It looks like the Thunder are gonna run away with this one, barring some huge collapse. So they're gonna be up 2-0.
Yeah, you mean the Celtics and Heat, that series.
Celtics Heat, then Mavs Clippers split, and Bucks Pacers split, and really the Bucks without Giannis, I don't know how much longer they can weather the storm there.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I mean, it really just took Damian Lillard scoring 35 points in the first half and then not doing anything in the second half. So he's gotta just go crazy every night. But I've been watching in a 3-box right now with the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs. And you texted me this last night. Now we're probably getting this for the NFL season with Sunday Ticket. You can make your own multi-view on YouTube TV, which is long overdue, but very good.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Like this is the best. I need a bigger TV though. Like I told Jesse, like I was like, hey, can we get a bigger TV? I got the money for it. I got funds, and TVs are cheap nowadays. Can we get a bigger one? Why? Just because I feel like it's time to make a change. No, secretly, I want the multi-view.
That's not what you said.
What did I say?
You said the walls, there's too much space on the wall.
Oh, there's too much space on the wall, and there's not enough. We're not using enough space on the wall.
Yeah,
that was my excuse.
Hey, man, if you got the money to do it, why not? Now, you could get a wedding present from somebody that gives you a big old TV.
Say that again. Sorry, Jesse's.
You could get a wedding present. You could get a wedding present that someone gives you a big old TV.
Yeah.
I'm not saying me. I don't want to insinuate that. No, I'm not buying you a TV. But who knows? Someone might.
Maybe a treadmill. You can get us a treadmill.
No, I could get you a used treadmill easily.
Yeah.
You like that? You like that one in the corner there, Steven? Here, I'll do a little. All my coats are on it currently, but
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got to move out eventually, so if you want that treadmill, just let your boy know.
I've thought about making a switch to a projector screen.
Not good during the day.
Oh, they're not.
No, they're terrible during the day. My grandpa had a projector. You can't watch TV during the day. It sucks.
All right, never mind.
But it may be a good excuse to not watch TV during the day. You'll just read.
Nah, I need TV on at all times.
Fair enough. Real quick before we get out of here, Blake Snell going to the 15-day IL. Was supposed to pitch today. Then it went to an opener, and that basically fucked up the game today for the Giants. They lose 8-2. Do you think, and I know he talked afterwards, you really think Blake Snell's injured?
Got to be honest, as soon as I heard that, I was a little skeptical.
Yeah.
I was a little skeptical because it's clear that he needs some time, and maybe he's taking this time to train a little bit more and get into shape. I don't doubt that there might be something bothering him, but 15-day injured list is an interesting one. So, the adductor strain, there you go, Otis Bird. That's what it is. The adductor strain is the old groin injury, and I don't know, man. I was skeptical when I saw it, but I don't want to question a player's integrity like that. But teams do that all the time.
I don't want to either. I mean, he could have easily dodged the media and not talked to them today, but he did, and he said, "I've had this before, and it's anywhere from a month to a couple weeks." But the way he was answering also kind of made me believe, like, I wouldn't be surprised if, today he was ready to go, and then Bob Melvin's like, "It good?" And he was like, "I don't know if I'm ready." And he was like, "Okay, this is what we do. Don't say a goddamn word. We're just going to rehab you. We're going to make sure you're good. And then once you're ready to go, we'll get you back up again. But let's just make up an injury." I wouldn't be surprised about that. You also don't want to downplay if someone's actually hurt, and he could very well be hurt. But the timing of it seems very, very weird. But then again, we all questioned Ohtani, and most of us were wrong, Steven.
I'm still not going to believe we were wrong, even though it was a federal investigation that came to a conclusion.
Exactly.
No, I was looking forward to it because despite his early struggles, like, I want to watch Blake Snell. Like, I want to see him. I want to see what he looks like in every start. It's what sports are all about. I don't want to just, be like some fair weather fan who's only going to watch if they're actually pitching well. It doesn't matter how they pitch. I want to see the progression, whether he keeps it up or he improves, builds on something. Like I was really looking forward to it, especially looking for their first sweep against the Mets and seeing what these last two pitchers did in the series. Keaton Wynn and Logan Webb were just outstanding.
Yeah.
It's crazy seeing how many of these starting pitchers are going into the 6th, 7th inning. It feels like you didn't see a guy go past the 5th when you had Alex Cobb and Alex Wood and Gabe Kapler with his goatee and his chiseled jaw, too scared to let a pitcher go back out there for the 6th inning.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of Giants fans were happy today or last night to hear Bob Melvin say, like, no, I wanted him to go pitch in the 9th inning. It's a far cry from a year ago. And he say, he may exceed a year ago when he pitched 220 innings. We'll see if Logan Webb does that. Do you think Logan Webb right now is the best pitcher in baseball?
In baseball?
I saw a lot of people throw that out yesterday, and that may be hyperbole, but is anybody pitching better than him at the moment?
I can't name. To be 100% honest, I can't tell you with confidence.
Yeah.
That he is. I know there's. I know Jose Barrios. I know in the American League. I was looking up American League stats because Paul Blackburn for the A's was tearing it up prior to yesterday's start against the Yankees. But I was looking up the American League stats, and Blackburn had like a 1.08 leading into that game against the Yankees, a 1.08 ERA. Then Jose Barrios had like a sub-1 ERA with Toronto, and he was like 4-0 or something. So if you're looking at the stats, it was Barrios, and Barrios also does it with strikeouts. But if you're talking about a defense that is suited for their ace, like, good God, it's a perfect fit with Nick Ahmed and Matt Chapman on the left side and Logan Webb just inducing 13, 15 ground balls, whatever it is, keeping guys guessing. It's fun to watch, man. You kind of know what you're going to get with him out there. And I think he took that Cy Young finalist or Cy Young runner-up kind of personally. And we could see him in that fight again. He's been fantastic so far.
We shall see. Steven, anything else you got?
Did you see what happened with the Oakland Ballers?
No.
Yeah, one of their pitchers, Danny Kerwin, I think is his name. I might have the first name wrong, but he was part of the Oakland Ballers organization.
Yeah.
And their head coach or their manager in Micah Franklin, it's Danny Kerwin. He posted a video on Saturday of Kerwin just throwing bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the radar gun on the top and what his speed was. And his fastball was reaching 98 miles an hour. And he was also mixing in some off-speed stuff. And yesterday, the Red Sox signed him to a minor league deal.
Wow. Good for him.
Sold his contract. So, they want to help the community. They want to keep baseball in Oakland and do all that. But they also want to kind of be a breeding ground for, players who kind of lost their way with their major league dreams and kind of getting them back on track. So I think that this is exactly what they set out to do. And the fact that this guy reportedly agreed to the deal with the Red Sox is pretty cool.
No, nice. It's a nice Jim Morris story. Remember him?
How's that?
The rookie.
Yeah, dude, I thought about that too. That's immediately what I thought of. It's like, did Micah Franklin go up there and like, you just threw 98 miles an hour? And then he looks at him, he goes, nah. That's the only part I know from that movie.
I want to say that was the name of the pitcher. I could be wrong here. Hold on. I want to say his name was so close to Jim Morrison, the rookie.
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid as Jimmy Morris. Yep.
Hell yeah.
Nailed it. And this is why everybody should come out to the Ballers games. It's going to be the opening night, right, Steven?
Aren't tickets already sold out?
Are they really?
Think so.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Pretty sure.
Tickets are sold out for opening night for the Ballers?
It's over a month away. I could be wrong, but
fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I got to ask JT Snow for the hookup.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, yeah. Let me get JT on the phone. I'll just shoot him a text.
Hang on, let me see here. Oakland
I
Ballers.
could be dead wrong, but I thought they were sold out pretty quick.
Let me check. I'm doing this on the fly here. Oakland Ballers tickets. StubHub. Their first game's in June
4th, right?
4th on a Tuesday. Wow. Yeah. No, you are correct. Shit. I was hoping to go to that. Good Lord.
Derek, you've never really been one to plan ahead, so to speak.
Yeah, but we got some time here, and God, yeah, there's only like 3,000 seats. But maybe I could go. Maybe I can use a credential or something. No, I'll figure it out. God, I wanted to go to that, but I'll be there. I want to check out a game.
Oh yeah, I mean it's right down the street for you. You got an entire season in the Pioneer League, so you're good.
I know. It'd be nice to go to that opening night, and I think a lot of people. I mean, obviously, a lot of people are going to that. Jesus, sold out already. First week. It's crazy. All right, we'll figure something out. JT, hook your boy up. We'll talk.
I got your tickets.
All right.
'Cause I am JT Snow. Damn. That didn't work out as well as I'd hoped.
What were we trying to parody there?
I was trying to parody Snow by Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, yeah.
Let's end the podcast.
All right, let's do it. All right, everybody enjoy the draft tomorrow, except for Steven. He will not be watching, he claims. For everybody coming out to the draft party tomorrow, we will see you there. It'll be a lot of fun. To everybody in the chat tonight, to the Ernies, to Otis Bird is the word, to Tacky, the brief time he was here. AJ Cruz, our new guy. Way, what was it? I like this way. I'm your way.
Walk this way.
Yeah. And then Jesse, as always, chiming in, doesn't want Steven to get a new TV. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the draft tomorrow. Steven, say what you always say.
It's just our opinion, man. Gonna get that damn TV. Gonna get a new couch. Fulfill my dreams.